I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, May the 15th, 2015. A vote on Israel's new cabinet passed 61 to 59 at the Knesset last night, approving Israel's 34th government, which, after being delayed by several hours, took place at 9 p.m. local time in Israel. There were some disruptions during Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to the Knesset, and several Knesset members were removed from the chamber. The Prime Minister announced his ministers and deputy ministers and that he was keeping 4 portfolios for himself, including that of foreign minister, saying he was, quote, leaving the door open for broadening the government, referring apparently to leaving that portfolio possibly for opposition leader Isaac Herzog if he were to join the government. Herzog addressed the Knesset after Netanyahu sharply criticizing the cabinet the Prime Minister assembled, calling it a circus. Meanwhile, U.S. President Barack Obama expressed his concerns about the new government. Speaking from a Camp David summit with the leaders of Arab Gulf states, Obama said he maintains that a 2-state solution is vital for peace and for the long-term security of Israel as a democratic and Jewish state. He added, though, quote, and I know that a government has been formed that contains some folks who don't necessarily believe in that premise. Obama also praised the courage of the Camp David Accords of 1978 between Israel and Egypt and said that tough choices resulted in what's now been a lasting peace between countries that used to be sworn enemies, and Israel's better off for it, saying, I think the same would be true if we get a peace deal between Israelis and Palestinians. 22-year-old Palestinian Mohammed Arfaya confessed last night that he deliberately ran his car into a group of people standing at a bus stop yesterday outside the Jewish settlement of Alon Shvut in the West Bank, and that he did so for nationalist reasons. Israel's security agency, the Shin Bet, said Arfaya, who is from Hebron, was released from prison in Israel just a year ago after serving a sentence for throwing stones and carrying a weapon. As we reported to you, 4 Israelis between the ages of 16 and 25 were injured in yesterday's attack, 1 seriously, 1 moderately, and 2 lightly. They remain hospitalized. And staying with the Shin Bet, the agency said yesterday that together with Jerusalem police, they prevented a stabbing attack on Jewish security guards in East Jerusalem earlier this month, arresting 3 Palestinian suspects on suspicion of plotting to attack the guards stationed at a Jewish building in the mainly Arab neighborhood of Silwan. One of the suspects, Muhammad Nasser Ahmed Abbasi, is affiliated with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. And the Jerusalem Post reports that an official from the Palestinian Authority said today that the PA's security services had uncovered and arrested a Hamas terror cell near Hebron in the West Bank that were planning attacks against Israel. Clashes erupted today in the West Bank between IDF forces and protesting Palestinians on what the Palestinians mark as Nakba Day, the annual commemoration of what the Palestinians refer to as the catastrophe, the establishment of the State of Israel 67 years ago on May the 14th of 1948. Palestinian sources claim that 10 Palestinians were wounded during the clashes today. Fraser Glenn Miller, who is charged with killing 3 people at 2 Jewish locations in Kansas last year, fired his attorneys yesterday, taking over his own defense in the murder case. Miller, who is a former Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, is accused of shooting and killing 69-year-old William Lewis Corcoran, his 14-year-old grandson Reed Griffin Underwood, both at the Jewish Community Center of Greater Kansas City in Overland Park, Kansas on April the 13th of last year, and then killing 53-year-old Terry Lamano at a Jewish retirement home nearby. While none of the victims were Jewish, Miller had said that after finding out he had emphysema, he decided to target the Jewish sites and kill some Jews before he died. He is charged with capital murder as well as other charges and could face the death penalty. President and CEO of the Jewish Council for Public Affairs, Rabbi Steve Gooch, is stepping down after 10 years. In a letter to board members, Chair Susan Turnbull wrote that Gooch is leaving a legacy of stellar work and that the organization would continue to build on that strong legacy. Gooch wrote that his serving in the role has been a tremendous honor. Under Guto's tenure, the JCPA's major initiatives include co-founding of the Israel Action Network, an outreach and response group devoted to countering perceived assaults on Israel's legitimacy, together with the Jewish Federations of North America. Also, programs supporting immigration reform, environmental issues, and fighting poverty and hunger. As the JCPA looks now for a new leader, daily operation of the organization will be given to Senior Vice President and General Counsel Ethan Felsen. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, May the 15th, 2015. Remember, live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock tonight from New York City's Central Synagogue. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.